Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Are you ready to take your career to the next level?
One of the best ways we found to do that is to surround yourself with like-hearted sales professionals.
And we've heard that saying, you're the sum of the people that you hang out with.
Well, if you want to hang out with some sales professionals that also want to take their career to the next level and believe in selling from the heart, we invite you to join us in the Selling from the Heart Insiders Group.
This is a weekly gathering of like-hearted, like-minded sales professionals and sales leaders. We truly build community each and every week.
One of our favorite things is our up close and personal with thought leaders, former podcast guests, and people that challenge us to grow in sales. We would like you to join us for our next up close and personal. Just go to sellingfromtheheart.net/free-pass. That's sellingfromtheheart.net/free-pass. And we look forward to seeing you in the Selling from the Heart Insiders Group. Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, first of all, great seeing you. What isn't going on? I can't believe we're knocking on the door. 5-year anniversary, Selling from the Heart. I just can't believe this podcast that we started 6.5 years ago turned into what it is today. Awesome.
What a celebration. Yeah, September 19th, Tuesday, September 19th is the 5th birthday of Selling from the Heart. We're going to be celebrating, so pay attention.
Hey, by the way, are you going to get me a cake?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to have a cake. We're going to have
I just want to make sure.
It's going to be, what else do you have at a birthday party?
I don't know. I want balloons.
Are you going to wear the hat? Are you going to wear the hat? That's the question. Everybody
if you
wants
get me a hat, I'll wear the hat.
It's going to be fun. Thank you, everybody, for backing and promoting Selling from the Heart as it relaunched in Barnes & Noble here just a few weeks ago. And now we're knocking on the door of the 5th birthday of this movement of authenticity and the trust in the sales profession. And we're so glad you're a part of it. If you're listening to the Selling from the Heart podcast, you're part of the community. And we so appreciate you. We appreciate the connections that are happening all over the world with sales professionals saying, yeah, I sell from the heart. I want to be genuine. I want to be more authentic. I want to build trust. All the essence of Selling from the Heart. And Larry, it's a blast. And boy, we're going to have a fun conversation today.
Oh, I can't wait. But before we welcome in Yoram, I just have to give a special shout out. And because I met this person through the podcast, I just wanted to give Brad Rennick a huge shout out. Class act sales leader. We met many years ago because he listened to the Selling from the Heart podcast. His teams read Selling from the Heart. And since then, we've become very, very, very close friends. So Brad, you're amazing. I just want to give you a shout out.
And he's Canadian, all the way from Hamilton, Ontario originally. And so it was cool hanging out with Brad Rennick. And look, we're excited about all the network of the relationships, of friendships that are being built. And we've got a new friend to introduce to you today. The doctor is in the house, Dr. Yoram Solomon. He's the founder of the Trust Building Institute, teaching companies and individuals how to build trust in teams, how to be trusted by others, and how to know who to trust. His trust building model, it's based on years of original research and service at the IDF 35th Airborne Brigade. He published 12 books, 22 patents, and more than 200 articles at Inc. Magazine and Innovation Excellence. He was one of the creators of Wi-Fi and USB 3.0. Where would we be without this? He's one of the top 40 innovation bloggers and one of the top 20 global thought leaders on corporate culture and innovation. And most of all, he's all about trust. And he's here today on Selling from the Heart. Yoram, welcome to the Selling from the Heart studios.
Hey, Darrell. Hey, Larry. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
I'm taking a bow on this one. Holy smokes.
By the way,
I got some work to do.
You used an older resume. It's 19 books now.
Oh, congratulations.
And the company is Trust Habits Institute, not Trust Building Institute.
There you go. Thank you for the correction. And we're going to put all of that in the show notes because you are going to want to get to know Yoram after this conversation. And Yoram, you know where the conversation begins on the Selling from the Heart podcast. It begins with your answer to this question. Yoram, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
I don't think I need to answer this because you already used the word trust 5 times since you started, including your music introduction. You used the word trust. To me, selling from the heart is simple. Sell with trust, not price. That's simple.
This is going to be a great conversation, and I just have to give a tip of the cap on this one because I'm going to bring up it's going to be truth, but it goes back to our dear friend Todd Capone, and he's just a big sales historian, Yoram, and he gives reference to a guy by the name of Arthur Dunn, which goes back all the way to the year 1919, and he quotes Arthur Dunn, and basically he says this: if the truth won't sell it, then don't sell it.
Yes.
It is so spot on.
Very, very true. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a fun conversation. We love talking about trust at Selling from the Heart. We believe that it is the core essence of selling from the heart, that it is the most important thing to have in a relationship. And also, we believe that trust is at an all-time low in a lot of ways in this world right now, which is a real issue for salespeople. When you think about trust, do you see trust being at an all-time low, or do you have a different perspective on that?
So first of all, yes, definitely, it's in an all-time low. I was giving a talk today, and I asked my audience at some point, you get a call, your phone rings, and somebody says, "Listen, I'm from the firefighter association. We have a fundraiser. We're raising money to help firefighters, deal with injuries and so on. Are you willing to donate?" And everybody kind of unanimously said no. Like, why not? I mean, you don't care about firefighters? The answer is yes, I do care about firefighters. The probability that this is a legitimate call is close to zero. I think the number is 59% of calls that you're getting and of the texts that you're getting, 59% are spam. They're not real. What was the number? 16%, I think, of Facebook accounts are fake. So you don't know who to trust. And when it comes to salespeople, I'll share with you statistics when we get to it, but it's even more critical.
And I mean, this is why it's just so important, because I just go back to every time salespeople get into conversations, they got to be prepared in the back of their head. I always use this phrase, Yoram, they're always behind the 8 ball already, because of all the negative connotations. So I'm just going to throw this out and we'll just see where this thing goes. But where did all of this go wrong? Just through the lens of Yoram, where did all of this go wrong when it comes to losing trust?
I think it's a combination of things, but there was a study done in 2017 based on the World Values Survey database. And what they did was they looked over a period of over 51 years. This was done in 2017, actually in Canada. You like Canada. I don't know why.
There we go.
Yeah, nicest people ever.
Absolutely.
So they did a study. It's 3 or 4 professors did a study. And what they found was that over a period of 51 years, in 78 countries, the level of, they call it individualism, but it's really the world revolves around me. It went up 12%. Now, this might not be impressive to you. 12%, 51 years. The thing is, when you look at this country, the numbers are 60 to 69%. We are more self-centered today, 60 to 69%. Now, I think the other thing that's happening is all those techniques on how you build your funnel, and you need a bigger funnel. How many people are reaching out to you on LinkedIn? And I looked at your profile, and you seem very interesting. I would like to add you to my network. You say okay, and it doesn't even take an hour before you get a sales pitch. So I think the practices are our inability to see things from the other person's perspective. I think that's what causes the general decline of trust, a decline of trust in sales, more specifically. And because of that, all of those numbers that you're relying on what percentage of your funnel becomes business, all those numbers are worthless now.
Mm. And you step out into the marketplace as a sales professional, you walk in the door, physical or virtual, and all of a sudden, that for the most part, you're walking in with a negative level of trust. And, that would be skepticism. And this is, to me, this is the issue of selling right now, because I love Stephen M. R. Covey's book, Business at the Speed of Trust. When there's trust, things go fast. But when there's skepticism, things go slow, or they don't go at all. So with that realization, you walk in with a negative amount of trust. How do you start? How do you even get in the door as a sales professional? These are the questions we're wrestling with at Selling from the Heart all the time. But I'm curious, your perspective, where do you even start as a sales professional that wants to initiate a new relationship?
Let me start with a few statistics. First of all, how important is trust? I did a study, a survey, really. And I asked people, what is the most important quality for you in other people? And I talked about 6 types of people: your boss, your employees, your peers, a salesperson trying to sell you something, your government representative, and your spouse. I asked about 6 types of people, what is the most important quality? On average, 61.2% said trustworthiness. But number one, the highest ranking for trustworthiness as the number one quality of all 6 was salespeople, 77.4%. 3 out of 4 people said the most important quality for me in salespeople is their trustworthiness. So that's the first thing. But then I asked myself, after I got the results of this survey, I asked myself, wait a minute, let's see if people are willing to put their money where their mouth is. You're telling me that my trustworthiness is important to you. How much is it worth? So I did another study. And what I did was I gave a hypothetical case of you're trying to do something like a $10,000 home renovation project. You bring in 2 salespeople from 2 different companies. Those are your finalists, your 2 finalists. One of them comes in, and using my model of trustworthiness, what I did was I touched on all the knobs and levers such that you would consider one of them to be very trustworthy and the other one not so much. And then at the end, I said both of them gave you proposals, both of them for exactly the same price, $10,000. Which one would you choose? Well, sometimes when I ask this in a workshop or a keynote I give, people think that it's a trick question. It's not a trick question. Which one would you choose? 100% choose the trustworthy one. So from the get-go, if you're trustworthy against an untrustworthy salesperson, you get 100% of the business, they get 0. But if you're the untrustworthy one, or your behavior is such that makes them believe that you're untrustworthy, the other one gets 100%, you get 0. So then I went to the next step. What if I raise the price by 10%? The trustworthy one is asking for 11,000. The other one is asking for 10. I'm still at 100%.
Wow.
I went up to 20%. I went up to 50%. On average, I put it all in a formula and I got this number. Get this. A trustworthy salesperson can sell the same product, same service for 29.6% higher price. That's just to get to the 50-50 point of probability of you buying it from me. 30%.
This is fascinating. So here's the question. I just got to throw it out there is, what are the signals? So what are the signals that person is sharing then that person on the other end goes, you know what? I can trust this person. There has to be something, right? So whether they say the right things, they pull the right knobs, poke at the right levers, things like that. But what is it? What are the signals, and how does somebody know between salesperson A and B that person's trustworthy? What happens?
So let me break it into 2 sets of components. I'm going to give you the 6 components of what I have in my model. And when I started researching trust, you brought up Stephen Covey's The Speed of Trust, and there are others who did that, who wrote about trust and researched trust. When I started with trust, the first question I asked myself is, do I have a different perspective on trust? Because if I don't, there's no point in one more person just saying what everybody else is saying. And I realized that I do. And not only that I do, but that it is in demand. You know, the when you ask me what does selling from the heart mean for me, I told you it's sell on trust and not on price. That actually is the topic of the title of my keynote that I give to salespeople. Sell on trust and not on low price, because typically what they would do is lower the price. By the way, if the price is the same, the untrustworthy salesperson would have to discount their prices 23% just to stay in the game. Just to stay in the game.
Ouch.
So what is the model? It's made of two sets of components. First, who you are. Second, what you do during that interaction. The who you are, you want to show competence, personality, compatibility. Now, this does not mean that we're the same, but it means that I adapt myself to your personality. Because different people have different personalities. I can give you plenty of examples of how the same thing that I would do, and this goes back into one of the major things about my approach to trust. Trust is relative. That was the name of my second TED Talk. Trust is relative. The same behavior that would cause one person to trust you could cause another person to distrust you. Now, it's a very inconvenient truth. Why? Because that means that forget about general assessments where we ask, sure, there are always questions like, do you tell the truth? The whole truth and nothing but the truth? If you do that, people will trust you. But other things, there are other parameters, other behaviors that it would cause some people to trust you, other people not to trust you. So we have competence, personality, compatibility, and finally symmetry, the symmetry of the situation. Then there is, in salespeople, especially in the transactional phase, is the what you do. And the what you do starts with the positivity, and the positivity for me is made of empathy, my ability to see you, to see things from your perspective as if I was you, as if I were you. Now I speak like Canadian. I
love it.
No BS. Really, really no BS, because it's like people don't get that we are all born with a very, very powerful BS detector. And that when you trigger it, the trust goes down the tube very quickly. And then there are two more components that accelerate it, and that is time and intimacy.
Wow,
and
this is so good.
I have to give you one example. The phone rings, okay? What happens when the phone rings? It's a cold call. Don't know who that is. What's the first thing that happens? You answer, nothing happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 seconds, and all of a sudden somebody comes online. You lost me. You lost me in those 10 seconds. I don't care that that's your system. I don't care that your system just dials numbers, and when somebody picks up, it tries to find a salesperson to answer. I don't care. And you're not seeing things from my perspective. One of the, one of the simplest things that salespeople, it kills me that they don't know how to do it, because it's so simple. I'll tell you a story. My older daughter, when she was really, really young, I mean, she was like a year or 2 years old. One day she wanted to call me at the office. So she told my wife, I want to call daddy at the office. Fine. So my wife told her, listen, when he answers, first ask him, are you busy? Because that's what my wife does. She asks, are you busy? And if I'm busy, she says, doesn't matter, it's not that important. If it is important, she'll say it's important, but it's not that important. We'll talk later. So she told Maya, listen, ask him first, are you busy? So Maya calls me, the phone rings, I answer the phone. Hi, Daddy, it's Maya. Are you busy now? And I said, Maya, it's good to hear you, but I am busy. And then she went on talking and talking and talking. I didn't know what to do if I said that I was busy. She just told her to ask the question. This question is so simple. You know, when you answer the phone and there's a salesperson on the other side, and the first question they ask is, or introduce themselves, hi, I'm Yoram Solomon with the Trust Habits Institute. Do you have 5 minutes, or are you busy? first of all, the probability that they're going to say, no, I'm good now, goes dramatically up. But even if they're not, the fact that you asked, the next time you're going to call, they will find the time. This is where the element of reciprocity and concession comes into play. And you know what? Not too long ago, somebody was calling me trying to sell something. Well, so first of all, we scheduled that call. So I already knew who was coming, which is a big part of it. The call was scheduled. The time was, I think it was 3 p.m. And at 3 p.m., my phone rings. I answer it. And it's not the salesperson. It's actually his assistant. And she said, he's still stuck on another call. Would it be okay if he calls in 5 minutes? Brilliant. Simple, easy. Then he called. I knew that he was going to call. And he said, first of all, I'm sorry I was late. Is this still a good time for you? How hard is it to ask?
Yep.
At that moment, you showed the person on the other side you care. You show them that you care about them and not just about what you have to sell.
It's so beautiful. This is so powerful and so practical. And we're looking forward to continuing this conversation in just a few moments after we hear from our sponsor and our feature every week, where we hear from one of the members of our community what it means to them to sell from the heart. When it comes to trust, there's no one better than Carrie McCann. So look forward to hearing from Carrie McCann after a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll rejoin Yoram in this brilliant conversation about trust and habits. Darrell here, and I'm excited to share with you one of the most innovative tools we've come across in a long time. Our partners at Why Institute have developed an amazing platform that helps people discover their why operating system. It's truly amazing. In 10 minutes or less, you can know why you do what you do, how you bring your why to life, and what people can count on from you. It's truly the first step in self-awareness. If you're a coach or a sales leader who believes in helping your people understand who they are so they can be the best version of themselves, you've got to check this out. All you need to do is go to whyinstitute.com and look for the Why certification page. We'll put the link in the show notes. When you reach out to the Why Institute, let them know you heard about it here on Selling from the Heart, and you'll be on your way to helping your team discover what drives them.
Selling from the heart is, going inside and listening to your true voice. It's listening to those instincts like, no, this feels right. And then, that's when the magic to me happens is when you're yourself, and that's a journey in itself too, right? Like finding who you really are and doing what's right at the end of the day, being able to put my head down on the pillow at the end of the night, knowing I did my best and it feels right. So to me, that's what selling from the heart is.
I love it.
That's good.
Love hearing from Carrie. And if you want to be on a future episode of Selling from the Heart, text the word video. I was going to say text the word trust. Text word video to 21,000. You can text word trust as well, but you want to text word video to 21,000. And we'd love to hear from you for a future episode. Yoram, this conversation about trust and the habits that come around it is incredibly powerful. And there's so much to unpack here. And I know in just a few moments, we're going to ask you how folks can get more Yoram in their life, because they're going to want to do that. What advice would you give to younger salespeople, people who are starting out and who are, feeling like maybe they have just another hurdle to overcome, their age, especially if they're calling on more seasoned decision makers? What would you say to a younger person who wants to build and establish trust in the marketplace right now?
Well, the model applies to no matter what age you're at, actually, no matter what role you're at, whether you're a salesperson or anybody else. I would say learn what makes people trust you. One of the biggest things here is no BS. Mm-hmm. I love the title of your podcast, Sell from the Heart. Sell from the heart, not from a script, not from a PowerPoint, not from what somebody told you have to say, even though in your head, that you're not being genuine when you do that. When you sell from the heart, you do it through trust. You build trust. That would
Sell
be
from a heart, not from a can.
but here's, and I'm glad Darrell brought this up, Yoram, because there are so many times, and they're countless, that we get young salespeople that are intimidated, right, by, seasoned executives, male or female, doesn't matter. And they go, man, this person's twice my age, right? What do they see in somebody who's in their 20s? It's really simple. All you got to do is speak with clarity, speak with conviction, have something worthy to say, bring some business insights in, share a point of view, share with them that you've been reading and listening to some of the same things that they are. It won't matter. First of all, that person's going to have said, oh my gosh, right? I'm impressed. And instantaneously, you've just raised the water level in the conversation.
I would add something. First of all, you have to know, and this is part of this no BS component. Mm-hmm. You can be confident. Confidence is part of competence. I don't know if you remember the movie Zero Dark 30. There's a part where the Navy SEALs, one of them asks the other, hey, do you believe her that, we're after Bin Laden? And the other one says, yeah. And the first one asks, what convinced you? And he points to her and he says, her confidence. Confidence builds trust. Overconfidence kills trust. You need to, on one hand, you need to be confident enough to keep in your mind, in your brain, the customer is not always right. The customer is not always right. I remember when I was working at TI, there was a client of ours that I took once to dinner, and all of a sudden, halfway through dinner, he said, you're the only person here that I respect in your company, which, you meet with a lot of people. Why am I the only one who you respect? He said, everybody else, they're just trying to please me. He was pretty powerful, a pretty powerful executive. And he says, everybody else is just trying to please me, to tell me what they think I want to hear. You're the only person that has absolutely no inhibitions to say, bull, that's not what you need. Maybe that's what you want. That's not what you need. Let me tell you what I think that you need. And when you keep that in mind, that's the confidence. But it's more than confidence, because with this, you're telling him, hey, I care about your success, not about pleasing you. This is not about pleasing you. This is about your success. And they catch that. That's one thing. The second thing is, when you don't know something, especially you said a young salesperson, you don't know everything, own it. Own the fact that you don't know. Exactly. I don't know. I promise I'll get back to you with an answer. I never had that question. Well, obviously, if you don't know anything, there is a competence problem here. But if you know enough, the other thing is, so many people give you the advice of just knock down the competition. Just, tell your customer how bad they are. Don't do that. Don't do that. That shows character, or lack thereof character. If you can talk about other people behind their backs when they're not here because they're your competitors. I hate it when a salesperson starts, oh, what? You're considering the competition? Yes, I am considering the competition. And based on your attitude, I'm considering a little more than I did 2 seconds ago.
So fun. Yoram, I know we've just scratched the surface here, and I know there's so much more our listeners are going to want to learn and experience. I understand that you've written a few books and have lots to say about this topic. How can folks get more Yoram Solomon in their life? Beware.
This goes south really quickly. We're gonna stay on topic. First of all, go to yoramsolomon.com. Go to trusthabits.com, which oddly enough would get you to exactly the same place. Oh, you want to know where else you can go? Trustinsales.com. Go to trustinsales.com. You'll find I have a podcast. It's The Trust Show. I have my 19 books, online courses, everything. You'll find everything there.
Wonderful. What a great it's just amazing. So fun. This will not be the last time you're on this show.
Hey, Yoram, can you tell Darrell and I have done this a time or two? It's like the verbiage is almost in sync sometimes.
Yeah, I can tell that. I thought it was a problem with my speakers.
Hey, Yoram, thank you so much. You're a true Selling from the Heart champion. We're cheering you on. We appreciate you investing in us today. This has been spectacular.
Thank you, Darrell. Thank you, Larry. I enjoyed being with you.
What a blast. So
I'm telling you, you've used their slang phrase before, rider downer. This was a rider downer, and y'all are going to get used to seeing Yoram because we're going to welcome him back on the podcast to peel this back even more. But I mean, trust is at the forefront, and without it, we know it happens.
That's right. And this is where, I think when you look at improving your effectiveness as a sales professional, and improving your ability to make an impact, it's not only your income, but it's also the impact you make and the fulfillment and satisfaction you have. There's nothing more important to invest in than the ability to build trust. And as Yoram talked about, it's not, these are skills that need to be learned, habits that need to be developed. And we are, this topic right now, as you look into Q4 and look on into the new year and go, what can I do to develop myself and develop my team? Trust is paramount. And as we move into the future, I think these trust indexes, what was amazing to me, Larry, was it 29%, all things equal? Someone is willing to pay 29% more to work with someone they trust. And if you're not trustworthy, the discount that you're going to have to give is 22%. That is incredible. That's a 50-something% differential on that. And this is why trust is the game changer. And I think this conversation with Yoram is going to continue in future episodes, because what we're talking about here is so, so critical.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to leave our listeners. And by the way, we appreciate you hanging out with us today. I mean, this was a fascinating conversation. But if you still don't believe where trust sits, here's my challenge. And I'm just going to encourage you to do this. Find one of your favorite clients and just go face to face, pick up the phone, virtual call, doesn't really matter. But just ask them, what does trust mean to them when working with a salesperson? Second thing is how do you even know you're in a trusted relationship, and what does it look like? Just ask, just mainly out of curiosity, and just listen to what your client has to say. And you'll be amazed. You'll absolutely be amazed what they share with you. Plus, you're probably going to learn something.
Which will be helpful in building your confidence and credibility. So we've got a great roster of episodes coming up throughout the fall. Make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And a huge shout out and thank you to everybody who's not only liking the podcast, but also leaving a review. It's helping us spread the word of this movement of authenticity in the sales profession. If you're listening, you're a part of it, and we appreciate you. Well, till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, be confident, no BS, and most of all,
sell from the heart.